A 256-year-old anchor has been rediscovered after vanishing for 43 years. The anchor, lost by a French ship more than 250 years ago, has been found by famous underwater treasure, had been found, I should say, by famous underwater treasure hunter Kelly Tarlton in 1982, but nobody had seen it since. This is significant, the anchor, because it is the earliest authenticated European artefact in the whole of New Zealand. Fiona Talton is Kelly Tarlton's daughter and is with me in the studio at the desk. Good morning, Fiona.
Good morning, Ryan.
You must be very delighted this thing's been found.
Yeah, it's actually been really thrilling for our family. We're excited about the connection with Dad it's 43 years ago that he located it. And in 1769, de Surville, this French explorer, at the same time as Captain Cook, he lost this anchor in Doubtless Bay up in the Bay of Islands, up in Northland. And so I'm looking forward to scuba diving it, hopefully in time with my son. But a lot of people have been looking for this anchor for many years. There's been Dad's friends, Dave Moran and Keith Gordon of the New Zealand Underwater Heritage Group, and with their First Encounters project. And so they've been looking for it. But we had this podcast of Kelly Tarlton's Final Treasure Hunt, and it was through that we finally found the Dad's coordinates, which had been lost for all this time. And so it's just been recently rediscovered or relocated. How
did your dad find it?
So Dad was really good at research. He always said sort of 1/10 diving, 9/10 research. And so first of all, actually in 1974, he found the first of de Surville's anchors, and which we donated to New Zealand. And so it's at the Te Papa foyer. So as you go into Te Papa, you see this huge anchor.
Oh, yes.
And so that's there. And then there's a second one found by local man, Mike Beersley, and that's up at a museum in Kaitaia, Te Ahu Museum. And but this one recently found, was, I don't know, basically it took Dad quite a while to get back to it. He had other projects, so. But now there's all this international interest as well because of the history of this anchor from this very controversial French explorer. There's Rhodes Island University and other universities are very interested in the archaeological implications of the anchor because it is so significant with it being out of everything European in New Zealand, that is the very first anchor lost of the three, and so it has big implications for an archaeological interest. And the New Zealand Heritage New Zealand, very involved in looking at and wanting to assess it now. And also there's the local hapu who we've been in connection with right from the start of the podcast and even before. With Ngāti Kahu and a man called Whetu who's been out with us and also looking for the anchor with the New Zealand Underwater Heritage Group. So,
what do you think your dad would say on finding it again? How did you lose it?
It's
after I spent all that time.
Honestly, he'd be I don't know. He wouldn't really roll his eyeballs, but he'd be having a bit of a chuckle, I think, about. It took him like a day to find it. He went out with a magnetometer and dragging it behind the boat, as we have been doing as well, with the side scanners and things, all this high-tech equipment. And of course, nowadays we've got a lot more fancy digital maps and all this gear, and he didn't have that in 1982 or even prior in 1974 when he found the first anchor, but he was using sextants and things to get compass bearings off the land. And,
wow.
And
so what happens to it now? Because some have been taken out, some have been left in. Why the difference?
Okay, so for a start, this anchor is it's basically got one fluke poking up in the air, and the other one buried deep into the rocks. So it would not be easy to remove, and it's never been our plan to remove it. We just wanted to relocate it, and which a man called Brendan Wade, who was recently joined the New Zealand Underwater Group, he was part of the team during the podcast. And yeah, so he was the one who went up and actually found it, and with an ROV.
Right.
So, which is like an underwater drone.
Yeah.
And so he's filmed it. But yeah, so it's really up to the future of it.
To get it out.
Yeah, well, it's looking really beautiful there. There's reef grown around it, so it's really colourful. And it's nice that the other ones were lying on the sandy floor bed, so they were a lot easier to remove by cranes on barges and things. But it needed to be conserved. You can't just pull up it out of the water, it'll rust away and oxidise. So there's a real conservation process involved. But you know, we have no intention of removing it, but that's completely up to Heritage New Zealand and also the local Ngāti Kahu, the hapu. So
Brilliant.
yeah.
Well,
so,
excellent news that we have found this thing again.
Yes.
And I'm sure your dad would be pleased that we have.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. He'd be really happy that this significant piece of New Zealand history has been relocated.
Fiona, thank you very much. Fiona Tarlton, daughter of Kelly Tarlton.
Thank you, Ryan.